Hello and welcome to Blurr. If you love psychological stories that quietly crawl under your skin's stories that don't scream for attention, but whisper until you can't ignore them anymore, then today's story is for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving this story your time. And thank you for trusting Blurr. Today, we're exploring Dear Debbie, a short psychological thriller written by Freida McFadden, an author known for turning everyday situations into deeply unsettling experiences. This is not a story about monsters. There are no chase scenes, no dramatic explosions. Instead, this is a story about letters, about identity, and about the terrifying realization that sometimes the most dangerous voice is the one that sounds the most familiar. So take a moment, slow down, and begin. On the surface, Dear Debbie looks simple. A woman named Debbie starts receiving letters. That's it. But what makes this story powerful is not what happens, but what it makes you feel as a reader. This story is really about control, about how easily our sense of safety can collapse when someone knows too much about us. It's about how fragile identity truly is, how thin the line can be between who we believe we are and who we might actually be. And most importantly, it's about the quiet terror of realizing that the threat may not be outside your life, but deeply woven into it. Debbie lives an ordinary life. Not perfect, not dramatic, just normal. And that's exactly what makes this story work. One day, Debbie receives a letter. The letter is polite, warm, almost comforting. It begins simply, "Dear Debbie." At first, she doesn't think much of it. People write letters. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's harmless. But then more letters arrive, and slowly something feels off. The writer knows things, small details, personal moments, thoughts Debbie never shared out loud. Not just facts, but feelings. The letters don't threaten her directly. They don't shout. They observe. They comment. They understand her. And that's where the fear begins. Debbie starts questioning everything: her relationships, her memories, her past decisions. She tries to identify the sender. She searches for logic, but the closer she gets to answers, the more unstable her reality feels. Because the truth isn't just shocking, it's personal. And when the final revelation arrives, it doesn't feel like a twist. It feels like a mirror being held up to the reader. One of the strongest ideas in Dear Debbie is the illusion of self-knowledge. Debbie believes she understands her past, her choices, her identity, but the letters slowly dismantle that certainty. The story asks a deeply uncomfortable question. What if the version of yourself you trust the most is the least reliable one? There is no physical violence in this story. The danger is emotional proximity. The writer of the letters knows Debbie too well, and that closeness becomes a weapon. It reflects a real-world fear, the fear of being emotionally exposed to the wrong person. Another quiet theme running through the story is guilt. Not loud guilt, not dramatic guilt, but the quiet kind, the kind we bury, rename, and convince ourselves we've moved past. The letters don't create new fears. They awaken old ones. The best part of Dear Debbie is its restraint. Freida McFadden doesn't rush. She lets discomfort grow naturally. There are no unnecessary explanations, no dramatic monologues, just a slow tightening of tension. And when the reveal finally comes, it lands with emotional weight, not shock value. The story trusts the reader. It doesn't scream. It lets silence do the work. This story may not work for everyone. If you prefer fast-paced action, clear heroes and villains, or long, detailed resolutions, this book may feel unsettling. But that discomfort is intentional. You should read Dear Debbie if you enjoy psychological thrillers, if you like stories that make you think after they end, And if you appreciate character-driven tension over loud drama, this story is perfect for readers who enjoy quiet reflection, late-night reading, and stories that stay with them. Dear Debbie proves something important. You don't need a long book to leave a lasting impact. This story respects your intelligence, it respects your attention, and most importantly, it stays with you as a reader. Long after the final sentence, you may find yourself asking, how well do I really know myself? And who else might be watching more closely than I think? That lingering question is the true success of this story. Stories like Dear Debbie don't end when the page ends. They echo, they blur the line between fiction and self-reflection, and that's why they matter. Thank you for spending this time with Blurr. Thank you for reading. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your presence here helps Blurr grow. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and remember, sometimes the most unsettling stories are the ones that feel a little too familiar. Thanks for reading.